I almost said something else. This is super sad. I almost said something else, and it start with profanity, but I'm gonna just leave that out of this. Brodes Perry, that's him. That's his wife, Tabatha. And this female right here, Latoshia, they all find themselves in a very, very awkward situation. Why? Why they find themselves in an awkward situation? Because the pastor, he on some other ish. He one of them pastors who, if you actually are looking forward to seeking religious guidance, he will definitely use your vulnerability to his advantage. So what happened? Well, they seem happily married. They live in Arkansas. She lives in Arkansas. She's going through a hard patch. Her and her husband are divorcing. The defendant is divorcing. She's going through a divorce with her husband, who's not pictured here. She seeks religious counseling from the pastor right here on screen. She goes to visit him. On the first visit, she pours her heart out to him. She needs another session. She just had a rough time getting through that session. On the second session, she pours her heart out again about all the difficulties she's facing. And she's safe in the hands of the pastor. While she's pouring her heart out, he begins to kiss her. And ultimately, he penetrated her with the heavens. I don't really know if that's how that went, but they definitely had sex. That came out in the trial. And then they went on a 2-year relationship until one day he decided to call it quits. He calls it quits. And what's being alleged is that she did some things and found herself at his house. Lo and behold, at the end of that situation, he found himself 6 feet under. And to be honest with you, can a pastor who acts in this fashion find themselves in the presence of the Lord is the question. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. We're going to listen to the statements, the testimony of what occurred when his wife took the stand in his broken heart murder trial. Why is it broken heart? Well, as the defendant is firing bullets, 5 total went into his body, she was screaming the whole time, "You broke my heart," in the presence of his wife. Investigators later questioned her and said, "Were you aware that they had a relationship?" The wife denied it. I wonder if she's going to deny it on the witness stand, though, because she testified. She was the prosecutor's first witness. So let's listen to what she had to say. Just give me 1 second. Let me find the clip. Okay, here we go. Hold on. This is going to take a couple of minutes, y'all. And I'm saying it's going to take a couple of minutes for us to get through this testimony because we definitely want to hear, or I know I do. I'm sure you do. I want to know to what extent this pastor decided to go outside of his moral, religious obligations just to fulfill his own desires. We got 31 minutes on the clock. Hope y'all got time.
And apologize to you.
It's actually gonna be a little bit shorter. Let me not scare you. It's actually gonna be a little bit shorter. There's a lot of dead spots in this, and I mean dead spots is in places where they're not really talking or she's not really testifying. So we're gonna skip over that.
After she threatened to commit suicide.
No.
Did you ever have a conversation with her about that?
No.
That's the defendant. The wife is on the stand.
Throughout all of those videos, it's very convincing talking about those things. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And none of it was true.
No.
Hold on one second. Just bear with me. I think that might be cross-examination, because it sounds like cross-examination. Give me 1 second. Sometimes these type of things happen. I'm trying to get to the point where it's direct examination from the prosecutor, not really the defense. Let me see. Okay, hold on 1 second. Yeah, I gotta go with that. That seems like let me preference. I got some notes that took place prior to the testimony. Okay, so okay. Let me see where this picks up. I'll just see where this picks up at, and we'll go from there. Because there's a good chance that this actually picks up from the beginning. But to me, it just sounded like it was going to be something that was cross-examination. It even says cross-examination. Let me shut up.
Throughout all of those videos, it's very convincing talking about those things. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And none of it was true.
No.
I want to talk to you about your relationship with Brodes, okay?
Okay.
Y'all were married for about 5 years. How long did you date before you got married?
About a year.
You were a second wife.
Correct.
And at no point during your relationship, with you at least, did he discuss this watchers or non-monogamy?
No.
Brodes was a pastor
Correct.
in Little Rock that was at St. Mark's. So
Yes.
it's a big church.
Yes.
Did he take trips with the church
Yes.
often?
When you say trips, like international trips or?
Both international and local. Israel,
Yeah,
Savannah, El
often.
Dorado. Did he take those with the other pastors?
Sometimes.
And he also took them sometimes with other church members. Like the church groups.
I can recall one time, maybe a time or two, where there was like a training conference or something like that. Yeah.
They did the whole church group was for Israel, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when he got the job at Mississippi Boulevard, that's a big deal to be a pastor there, right?
I guess.
It's a big church here.
It's a big church.
And now on direct, I thought you had said that he didn't ever do counseling for
St. Mark?
at St. Mark's, but I thought you told the police that he sometimes did. You just didn't know that he counseled Latasha.
I never known him to do counseling.
Okay. Did he ever tell you that he counseled Latasha?
No.
But you knew that she ended up getting divorced.
I did know that.
Now I want to talk to you about Latasha, okay?
Okay.
You knew her from church, and that was St. Mark's in Little Rock.
Correct.
She was a life group leader.
Yes.
What's a life group leader?
It's a person that leads a group of people that get together and do Bible study.
And that was a group that Brodes was over, right?
Correct.
And before his relationship with Latasha started, this was a tight-knit group, right?
Yes.
He was.
So the funny thing about it is, if you didn't pick up that, the wife is saying that she did not know that the defendant was actually being counseled by her wife, by her husband, but the defense is claiming otherwise.
Based on who showed interest. It wasn't like, we want you, people came and showed interest. Yeah.
There are thousands of church members at St. Mark's.
Sure.
And I think, about 40 or 50 people were selected to be life group leaders?
I guess. I don't know for sure.
And that's okay if you don't know. And you and Latasha were fairly friendly.
Yeah.
You played tennis once a month for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, after Brodes got the job at Mississippi Boulevard, y'all moved from Little Rock to Memphis.
Correct.
And at no point were you aware of their relationship.
No.
So the wife is claiming that she never knew they were in a relationship, but she did know the defendant. They played tennis together. And like I said, this relationship went 2 years. 2 years plus, actually.
Were you aware of any issues that Brodes had at St. Mark's?
No.
Y'all moved in October,
Correct.
and that was to Carterville.
Correct.
Before y'all left, you gave your friends, church members, your new address.
Yes.
And there was a party that was thrown for y'all, right?
I think so, yeah.
Did you know that Latasha organized that party?
It wouldn't surprise me to know that.
After you left Little Rock and moved to Memphis, you didn't see Latasha again until April 4th, right? And as far as you knew, neither did Brodes.
Correct.
But Brodes would come back to Memphis for his braces.
Right.
Now, why would he come back to Little Rock from Memphis to get his braces done?
Because the braces were paid for, but the work wasn't done in his mouth. So it just made sense to continue seeing that orthodontist.
And so Brodes would go to Little Rock, but you would stay in Memphis. Now, I want to talk to you specifically about April the 4th, okay? Now, you were at home that night.
Right.
Okay, so the defendant lived in Little Rock, Arkansas. The couple, the pastor and his wife, the wife who's testifying, they lived in Little Rock as well, but the pastor took a job at a new church over in Memphis, Tennessee. So they moved to Memphis, Tennessee, but as the wife is saying, he, on a very consistent basis, was going back to Little Rock to get his braces done because they were paid for, but the work was not complete, which gave easy access to the defendant since they were involved in a 2-year-plus relationship.
You were watching TV.
Right.
Just you and your dog, Anakin.
Yes.
And around 9 or 9:30, you heard a noise, a faint knock.
Correct.
Ignored it.
Yeah.
And then a couple of seconds, minutes later, you heard another slightly louder knock.
Yeah.
And you and Anakin, the dog, got up to go see what was going on.
Correct.
A third knock, or after you said, I'm not going to open this door if I don't see who it is,
Yeah.
you saw Latasha through the people.
Yes.
Recognized it was her.
Yes.
Invited her in.
Yes.
She wasn't threatening you.
No.
She did not have her gun out pointed at you. You sat, or you brought her into the house, right? And y'all sat in the living room.
Right.
Talked. Right?
Yes.
Talked about tennis.
Yes.
Talked about a work conference. Right?
Yes.
And just chatted.
Yeah.
She seemed happy to be there.
Yeah.
She seemed happy to be talking to you.
Yeah.
At no point while y'all were sitting alone in the apartment was she threatening to you.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's new, who's unaware of what's going on right now, the former wife of the victim, who is now deceased, the pastor passed away during this ordeal when his girlfriend, or if you want to call it his former girlfriend, which they had just broken up apparently. They were going through some rough times. She came to his house to meet with him one last time. He wasn't home, but his wife was. His wife knew of her. They went to the same church, and they played tennis together on occasion. She comes, she speaks with the wife for an extended period of time, about 30 minutes, as she waited for him to come back home. And the wife is explaining what took place, and that she's saying she didn't feel threatened. They just had a normal conversation until her husband got there.
She never tried to harm you.
No.
And she was seated, if I'm not mistaken, on a couch, right?
Right.
Actually. You're under man approach, Whitney.
Yes.
Tabatha, do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
That's my apartment, Collierville.
Your Honor, I'd ask that be made the next numbered exhibit.
Any objection?
It's the living room.
Any objection from the state?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. All right, we'll show the photo of the living room as Exhibit 2.
How do I turn this on?
And it broke my heart.
So what they do, what they just did, the attorney, they entered a photo of the apartment into evidence, and now they're getting ready to publish it, show it to the jury. Let me see where we at. All right, we'll pick up right here.
Seated, speaking to Latasha.
I would have been seated on the left end of the sofa.
So, that it won't work on the screen. It's gotta be good. So, like here?
Yes.
Okay. And where was Latasha?
On the opposite end.
About here?
Right.
Next to these other chairs.
Yes.
Brodes was not home yet, right?
Right.
He had gone to Pastor Pointer's to run an errand.
No, when he
I'm
got
sorry, Pastor Turner.
Right. Well, he got off work. He went to the cigar bar. And then from the cigar bar, he told me he had to go drop something off at Jason's house. So he went and dropped something off, and then he came home.
He likes cigars.
Yes.
At Thursday nights, he'd go to the cigar bar, right?
More than Thursday nights, but yeah.
But that was one of his nights,
Okay.
right? So you texted him when Latasha was there. Didn't tell him that she was there, but
Right.
texted him and just said, "This is strange."
Yeah.
And you said that it seemed a little odd, but she was happy to be there, happy to be talking to you.
Yes.
Up to this point on April the 4th of 2019, Brodes had never told you that he ventured outside of your marriage, had he?
No.
And you had never sanctioned that.
No.
That's a key detail. The Attorney just asked the wife, did you ever green light him going outside of the marriage for sex, obviously? She said no. She said, are you aware of it? She said no. That's contrary to what the defense is saying. The defendant is actually saying that he told her that his wife was okay with everything. It's almost like she was under the understanding, she, the defendant, was under the understanding that he was living two different relationships, with his wife being informed of their relationship and her relationship with him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they tie this back in, or if they have any other evidence to see if the wife, or to tell us if the wife is actually not lying about that.
He never told you that he had been involved in a 2-year relationship with Latoshia.
No.
He never told you that y'all would be sister wives.
No.
He never told you that he promised Latoshia that he would tell you.
No.
Did he tell you that he saw Latoshia earlier that night before she came to your apartment?
He did not.
Did he tell you after he got there that he had seen Latoshia earlier that night at the cigar lounge?
No.
He acted like he had no idea she was even in town when he walked in that door, right?
Correct.
And if he had seen her at that cigar lounge earlier that night, that would not have been true. Right?
Correct.
I want to talk to you about while you and Latoshia were talking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She never threatened you, right?
No.
Was never cross with you.
No.
And she engaged with you cordially.
Yes.
Seemed genuinely happy to be there.
Yes.
Now I want to talk to you about when Brodes arrived home, okay? Can you describe his demeanor when he walked in?
Agitated.
Did he immediately come in and offer the bourbon?
No, not immediately.
Okay. When did that happen?
I would say once he kind of settled in, he had bags, he had things with him, so he set those down, told me that he brought me these aminos. He made the statement about this was an uninvited guest. And then I think that's when he started saying, what are you doing here? Where are you staying? That whole bit. And at some point around there is when he offered, does anybody want a drink?
After he made the drinks, he also...
You see what's silly about this, or I won't say silly, but what's amazing about this is that not only did the pastor have understanding and even met with the defendant when he was supposed to just be at the cigar bar, he met with her at the cigar bar, and then he came home and acted like, what are you doing here? Like, what brings you in town? Like, come on. This man is living a closeted, and I'm not talking about closeted in the way that you might be thinking, but I'm saying like he's doing a lot of things in the dark, and his wife seems to be unaware of the other life that he's living.
So sat down, right?
Yes.
And when we're looking at Exhibit 2, Brodes sat in this chair.
I can't remember which chair he sat in, to be honest.
That's okay.
One of those chairs.
And while he was seated in one of these chairs, Latoshia was still seated here?
Yes.
Were you still seated over here?
Yes.
Brodes made himself a drink.
Yes.
And he made Latoshia a drink, right?
Right.
And you didn't want a drink.
Right.
You had had some champagne earlier in the night, and you were done.
Fine. Yes.
When Brodes was talking to Latoshia about, why she was here, what she was doing, he was kind of making small talk with her, right?
It was, I guess you could call it that. It was like badgering almost. Yeah.
He still seemed agitated?
Yeah.
At some point, did you notice that he kind of stopped talking to Latasha when we started engaging with you?
I didn't.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Your Honor, I have a transcript of her statement. I've previously provided a copy to the state, but I have a bound copy to provide the ease of reference. Could you look at page 8 for me? Lines 8 through 17.
Okay.
And just read those for me, let me know.
What line is 18? I'm sorry. It's not numbered.
May I approach? Yes, it should be. It's just hard to see. Oh, okay.
Anybody who's new to the channel, man, make sure that y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. We're going over this case. This is what appears to be, or what's being advertised as, a love triangle involving a pastor and his wife and another member of the church who sought counseling during her time of trouble, going through a divorce with her husband, and the pastor gave her a blessing. I'm going to leave it at that. But it involved deep penetration.
I don't know why yours don't. Okay, I'm sorry. It's page 9. Starting here.
Okay.
And then just down a couple lines.
Okay, so it says,
Oh, you don't have to read it. Just read it to yourself.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
okay.
Do you remember telling the police that he kind of stopped talking to her and started engaging only with you?
I don't, but if it's here,
You don't dispute that that's...
I know I won't dispute it.
Okay. You could just put that in.
Okay.
Thank you. Was that normal behavior for him, for the guest?
I would say that it was normal for behavior for him with his life group leaders. It was not unusual for him to talk kind of rough to them and just, I would often say, I don't know why y'all put up with him. But it was usually just, that's just him, you know, kind of a good fun kind of way of roughhousing, so to speak. So I always found it kind of cringy, but it was not unusual.
Okay. I want to...
She said that she used to say to the other life group coaches, which the defendant was a life group coach as well, I don't know why y'all put up with him. Well, ma'am, we don't know why you put up with him. It seems like, just from the little details that's being alleged by the defendant, I don't know if they're all fabricated, but it does not seem like some of these details will be fabricated. And we haven't even got to majority of them.
talk to you now about when Latasha said that she was going to go ahead and go.
Okay.
She basically said, I'm not going to keep you guys, right? And everybody stood up. And you led the way to the door.
Right.
Latasha was behind you.
Correct.
And Brodes was behind her.
Yes.
And you got all the way outside, right? I mean, to the stairs of the apartment complex.
Right.
And Latasha and Brodes were still back towards the apartment.
Correct.
Latasha right outside the door, Brodes in the door.
Right.
Did you hear her ask him to walk her to her car?
No.
When they were over there and you were at the stairs, they were kind of had their own thing going on over there while you were trying to walk on out, right?
I don't know because my back was turned. So,
Right.
you know, it wasn't until I turned around that I realized they weren't right, you know, behind me.
And you were telling her, just don't speed, be careful. If you've had something to drink,
Right.
right? You had no idea what was going on behind you.
No.
So then I want to talk to you about when you turned around and saw Latasha, okay?
Do y'all believe that? Y'all think that she just was blindsided? She had no clue what was taking place behind her? It seemed also convenient that she would have not heard or saw certain things that were taking place just feet behind her, involving her own husband and some random girl who she knows that popped up at her house unannounced. Obviously, she wasn't uncomfortable with the girl being there, but the way that her husband is acting, you really think that she didn't hear nothing and didn't see nothing? That's possible, I guess.
She was still at the door of your apartment.
Well, she was out from the door, yeah.
And that's, your door is right next to your neighbor's door, right?
No, it's across the hall.
Okay, thank you. So she is standing right outside the door. Brodes is standing in the door frame. So she was closer to Brodes than you were.
Yes.
Do you remember how far away you were?
So from our front door to the stairs might be from here to the beginning of this green partition. So we're not very far from the stairs. Yeah. So if this is the front door, those are the stairs.
Okay, so
if I'm there, Brodes is here, she's maybe here. So it's like, you know, equal space between all three of us. It's not a lot of space.
12 feet?
I don't know.
It's equal space between y'all. Y'all live in an apartment. We saw what your living room looked like, and we saw your kitchen in the same photo. This apartment probably was, come on, we're not talking about a mansion. We're talking about a common apartment space. But you didn't hear nothing and you didn't see nothing about what took place while your back was turned to them, even though you all are equal distance apart. You in the front, her in the middle, and him in the back. I guess the distance between you and him was just double the distance. So you ain't hear nothing? Well, what about when she, who was closer to you, spoke to him? You ain't hear that either. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not good at guessing it either.
All right, let's step out of the courtroom for just a moment and do some analysis as we get ready for the jury to come in soon. I have on the program legal.
Yes, so let's keep it pushing, man. I'm going to move past all of this. We're going to get back to the remainder of the wife's testimony.
At FPL, we plan...
Stop that volume. We got like, what is this? It looked like a 30-second non-skippable commercial. Hey, when my commercials play, man, I really need everybody to watch those commercials. Those commercials help to finance this operation. If you want to contribute through donation, there are multiple ways you can do that. I have my Cash App and my Venmo pinned to the description, or actually pinned to the top of the chat. And in addition to that, I have other links where you could donate in the description. I appreciate everybody for y'all support. Make sure y'all run the likes up. Hit the like button. Let's get back into it. We only got a few minutes left. It's going to be a wrap.
Examined. Let's watch.
Somewhere 10 to 12 feet, maybe 10 to 15 feet. Does that look like a good guess to you?
This looks good to me.
She don't know. She can't answer. She's in scanning.
I can move on. Latasha was facing Brodes.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
And you saw her reach into her pocket, right?
Yes.
And this was as y'all were walking out to her car.
This is still upstairs.
Right,
Yeah.
but that was the direction that...
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you saw her reach into her pocket, you saw her pull out a gun.
Yes.
Now, prior to that moment, had you ever seen a gun?
No.
Prior to that moment, had she seemed to be a threat to you?
No.
Prior to that moment, did you think you were in harm's way being with her?
No.
She started firing again.
Yes.
Towards Brodes.
Correct.
You were in the opposite direction, right?
I was behind them. Yes.
And you ran to your apartment or your neighbor's apartment,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you weren't even in the apartment when the shots started.
No, I was still outside the apartment.
When y'all were in the apartment, the three of you, was the door closed?
After the shots were fired?
Before.
Oh, before. Yeah, the door was closed before.
Could anyone see into your apartment?
No.
With the door closed?
No.
It was private.
Right.
No one else other than the three of you was in the apartment.
Correct.
After the door gets open, you go outside, you're visible to everyone else in the apartment complex. Well, they could see where y'all were, right? You became visible outside of your apartment.
Not really, no.
So if your neighbor had opened the door,
If my neighbor across the hall had opened the door, sure.
they could see Latosha standing.
Mm-hmm.
They could see Brodes standing in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happened until after that was already out in more public area than y'all had been before, right?
Right.
You, at some point, lunged for Brodes, right?
Yes.
And tried to shield him.
Well, this was after the shooting had occurred, yeah. Once we were back in the apartment by then.
Prior to that point, prior to you trying to shield him, she had not fired any shots at you, right?
No.
And when you got shot, did you realize it?
Yes.
Did you grab your shoulder?
Yeah, the bullet, the bullet moved me. The shot threw me. Yeah.
And you were right against Brodes at that point too, right?
Until I got shot, right.
And then you said, Tasha, you shot me.
Mm-hmm.
What did she say back to you?
Something to the effect of, I didn't mean to.
And then you told her basically, like, go, leave.
Yeah, just get out of here.
Just get out of here. I won't tell them it was you. Just go.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
She didn't move.
No.
And at some point, you could hear the sirens coming.
Yes.
And Latasha still never moved.
Right.
She never put down the gun.
No.
And when the police came up, they had their guns drawn.
Correct.
And she still didn't put down the gun.
Correct.
And in fact, she pointed the gun at her own self.
Yes.
Towards her mouth.
Yes.
Towards her head.
Yes.
Against her chest.
Yes.
And the police were trying to talk to her to get her to put the gun down.
Right.
And she wasn't even really interacting with them.
She was talking back, Like,
She
no.
crying at that point.
Probably. I don't remember.
Do you remember her saying, "What have I done?"
No.
May I approach her? If you could just read right here.
All right. So that is the end of the recording that I have for the wife's testimony. Let me get this thing closed out. Put it back over here. Let me see. I thought I had some notes, but most of the notes seemed like they were detailed in that video. Give me 1 second. I'm just reviewing. Let me see if I can play this video real quick. I got a note here. It's a potential video saying that the jury saw the pastor's video talking about ethical non-monogamy. What is that? Ethical non-monogamy? Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me.
Brodes Perry and the attempted murder of Perry's wife, Tabatha, back in April of 2019. The Perrys were living in Collierville, Tennessee, and they reportedly knew Daniels when they all lived in Arkansas. Court TV's Julia Janae.
According to the police affidavit, Tabatha let former acquaintance Latoshia Daniels into the apartment. Once Perry arrived home, he and Daniels spoke for several minutes. As she was leaving, she pulled out a handgun and began shooting, hitting Perry 5 times and telling him, quote, "You broke my heart." Police arrived as Daniels was reloading her gun. Police shot Daniels and she was taken to the hospital for her injuries, where she attempted to get away from police. She faces charges of first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police officer. She has pleaded not guilty. As far as the motive, reports say that Tabatha, the wife, told police she was unaware of an affair between her husband and the suspect, but she believed Daniels' actions suggested it's a possibility.
That was Julia Janae reporting into their relationship.
Same time, like I told us, it placed
Videos of the pastor that were played. She's the pastor's wife, took the stand on Tuesday, and on cross, she was questioned whether her husband wanted to ever bring in another person into their relationship.
Listen to this.
There were some videos of the pastor that were played for the jury, and in these videos, he's talking about ethical non-monogamy. What is that? Let's watch.
I'm at a place now where I want to expand this ethical non-monogamy, and I'm just, your opinion matters to me because we are in this relationship. But at the same time, like I told us from the outset, I want to be respectful, but I also want to let you know that your opinion matters. But at the same time, I don't want you to put me in a box, right? Because while we talk about it in theory, this is now the practice part. And with a tab being perfectly fine with, the situation, because how I've handled and been honest and transparent with her with regard to this current relationship, me expanding it is not an issue for me. Basically, she told me, hey, we can talk about it when you think it's worth talking about. But the way that you handle this, I'm fine with not trust your judgment because you haven't given me a reason not to. But
So this clip is him talking about Latoshia not being okay with the ethical non-monogamy, and you being perfectly on board with it. Was that true?
No.
Did you believe that Brodes was being open and transparent and honest with you about his relationship with Latoshia?
What relationship?
He wasn't being open with you about his relationship with Latoshia, right? That there was a relationship at all?
Right.
He was not transparent about that.
There was nothing, to my knowledge, there was no relationship.
And you never said because he was so open and honest and transparent with you with his relationship with Latoshia that you were okay with him then adding another girlfriend?
No.
That didn't ever happen?
No.
Pastor running some serious game, it seemed like.
switch subjects and get a little more serious. You know, for me, our agreements have been simple, right? No exes, nobody from Jacksonville, Florida, which is home for us, and nobody in the city that you live in, that currently live in, which means anybody in Memphis. That was the case, of course, in Little Rock, outside of Girlfriend, because Girlfriend is in Little Rock. The way that kind of happened is, short version, when she decided to open up the marriage and allow me to be open inside her. Girlfriend is a therapist, right? And she didn't go to her for therapy, but she asked us some questions. And based on this therapy session she had with this other lady. And she was asking her some questions after she had just said, bro, is this what I'm gonna let you do? Blah, blah, blah. You know, it is what it is. And from there, she asked her some questions. And so she was like, I just got a couple questions for you. And, you know, they would go play tennis together. She was one of the life group leaders. And so we had rapport. Like, we had rapport. And she asked a question and was like, yeah, blase, blase, I'm thinking about this. And what do you think about this? Or what do you think X, Y, and Z could potentially become? And I'm sorry, I'm looking to see who was in the cigar lounge because this is not what I really frequent there. So I'm kind of careful about who potentially is in here because the class I'll pass them. You know, I really want to go in and go chill in the back. But yeah, I'm not a member. But anyway, so the next thing that she shared with her was, you know my husband like you, right? Well, he thinks you're attractive. And she was like, what? He's like, yeah, I know what he likes. And he thinks you're attractive. Not that he's been rude or anything like that. We've had conversation. Well, you know, we did. Because like one time we was hitting around having a watch. And she asked me, I was like, well, you gotta get her. I ain't gonna get it. I'm coming across this creepy guy, right? We're trying to spice things up. And in that regard, even though that was even somewhat limited with the idea of somebody watching them, that's neither here nor there. But when the question came.
Just to pause it for a minute. In your relationship with Brodes, did you outline rules for him on being able to seek out a girlfriend? Like, no one from Jacksonville, no one from where we live. Did you make those rules up? No. So that was not true. Not true. Did you...
Y'all think the wife lying, though? Do you think the wife is lying? Do you think that she's just trying to save face, and now that he can't, you know, speak to what he said happened, all we hear from is the wife? Do y'all think that she was informed? Even if it wasn't this female, was she informed about anybody else? It just seems like a lot of allegations. Where are these video recordings coming from? It don't even seem like he's actually talking to somebody. It doesn't seem like somebody is listening and engaging with him. It's almost like he recorded a video of himself. Like, is this like an advertisement? Like, is he giving tips to somebody else so that they can probably involve this type of situation in their life? And I'm not saying with him, but maybe they want to learn from the champ, from the God. From the God. Yeah, that's what he act like.
Were you the one who initiated the conversation about Latasha? No. Did you ever reach out to Latasha about Brodes engaging with her?
No.
Did he ever talk to you about wanting a watcher, as he described here?
No.
Did you ever agree to having a watcher, as he discussed here?
No.
Came up, it was her. I think she asked, who would you want? And that was the first thing in my stage. She's like, I know you like her. How can I know her? So anyway, so she said he like you, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, if you were interested, just, I'm not saying that you are, but I'm also saying I've given him this X, Y, and Z, and he may come your way.
What kind of pastor is this? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of pastor is this? Like, what part of the Bible is he actually like following at this point?
Your past with her because I essentially gave her the alley. But nobody. So I'm trying to figure this. So fast forward, I said a whole lot of shit, right? Trying to get to it. So I have been thinking about the past couple weeks in terms of expanding, my ethical non-monogamy. Just kind of, so my wife, her and I, we were chatting the other day. I was like, well, baby, I got a couple questions. I'm just curious, She knows about the group and everything like that. So I was like, when do you want to...
Just to ask a couple questions.
So if you call it ethical non-monogamy, it's apparently not cheating. I guess that's what we're learning in criminal court in this case. You never know what you're going to learn when you show up in the courtroom. We'll hit pause on this video of the pastor. Court TV Live rolls on in Tennessee.
Crazy stuff. Very crazy stuff. Let me see if we can move past this. Okay, move past that. All right, let's pick up right
Arkansas. She was kept saying, quote, does that mean it's okay to cheat? Let's go back in and listen to some of what the jury saw.
Did you ever have that conversation that he talks about with Latasha?
No.
Did you ever have that conversation that he talks about with him?
No.
Did you ever give him the XYZ that he was talking about?
No.
Did you ever give him a pass for Latasha?
No.
Did he ever talk to you about further expanding ethical monogamy in your relationship?
No.
No. Like, when do you want to know that there's someone who has my interest or someone who I would like to pursue? Do you want to know the moment that I feel like it's more than just banter? Do you want to know at the moment that I would like to begin to banter? Do you want to know once I feel like it might be a thing beyond banter? Or what? Because this is kind of new for us, right? Because, girlfriend, Tasha, that's easy. That's been 2 years. That's been it for the most part. Outside of me going, that's how I remember a thing. But it's kind of been easy in that regard. So we're trying to figure out what does that look like. So I'm just kind of really thinking through where I am with that, right? Where in terms of those. So there's a lot of newness. And I said that just to say that there's still a lot of newness even in this ethical non-monogamy that I'm wrestling with.
Who is he spitting his game to? Ethical non-monogamy. I'm serious. Like, I don't imagine anybody being on the other end of this phone call or this video to actually give him any type of pushback or questions, even if they agreed and they had no pushback. Who is he talking to? Is he just recording random videos? Does he have like some type of group of other degenerates who's trying to do whatever he's claiming that him and his wife is okay with Latasha, the defendant? This is a very peculiar pastor right here. I'm serious.
And that's typically how I've always engaged with it, right? With some level of familiarity. I cannot, whether being in the same class together at college or something like that, I've never kind of quote-unquote cold called anyone. If that makes sense. Because I'm not, I don't think I'm that guy. So, yeah. Thanks for coming to my TikTok. I don't know if I'm going to go in here, but now I'm thinking how far would we go downtown? Because I'm like, there's a lot of folk in there. I don't know if I trust who's in that room.
Did he say thanks for coming to my TikTok? Is that what he said? Anyway, those were videos that was played in the courtroom to the jury. Day 2 is a wrap. During day 3, we'll probably see more of the same. I really don't think that this pastor is done taking care of business. I really don't see it. Let me just check one more time to see if I got any notes that expounded on the details of what we covered. I'm not going to play any more videos, but let me check. So that's how we closed out day 2. Okay, I just wanted to show those videos because we didn't cover those. But during today, not today, the 6th, day 3 of the trial, there was a special agent from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation who examined the firearm. They came and he testified that he examined the 9mm Ruger pistol, the magazines and the cartridge, along with 7 casings from the crime scene and 6 bullets from the medical examiner. The comparative examination of the firearm and evidence led him to conclude that all 6 bullets and casings were fired from the Ruger pistol. That was confirmed that the 9mm is a standard firearm used by law enforcement. The prosecution, after that testimony, rested their case. The defense filed a motion for a judgment of acquittal, but the judge denied that motion, finding that there was sufficient evidence to proceed in the trial on all counts. So the defense started their case and they pulled up a witness. They had an officer with the Colliersville Police Department come. This person here was the responding officer to a shots fired call and found 3 people at the apartment, 2 on the ground, and a defendant standing with a gun in her hand. Daniels was non-responsive to verbal commands, and the police officer observed that she put the gun to her own head. Daniels was speaking softly, so the defendant was speaking softly to herself, not communicating with officers. The defendant did not point the gun at the victims or the officers. The next person who testified was a forensic psychiatry expert who conducted a forensic examination of the defendant. She clarified that she was not there to testify about any argument that Daniels was not guilty by reason of insanity. So she clarified that she was not there to testify about any argument that the defendant was not guilty by reason of insanity. She also was unable to determine diminished capacity because the defendant couldn't remember the event. So she could not even determine if there was diminished capacity because, like I said, the defendant could not remember the event. She found that Daniels had childhood trauma, including physical and emotional abuse. Her stepfather was a pastor, and she witnessed domestic violence in her relationship with her mother, or in his relationship with her mother. Daniels attempted to end her own life after her first divorce. Her second marriage was unfulfilling, leaving her feeling neglected. That's the reason why she sought the counseling of Pastor Brodes. She was diagnosed, the defendant was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, meaning she was having depressive symptoms that were severe enough to impair her functioning. Sound like a defense. Did not find any evidence. The psychiatrist did not find any evidence that Daniels was unable to understand the wrongfulness of her acts. After that, we're gonna have to get into some more intense video tomorrow. I do expect the defendant to take the stand as a witness. Y'all stay tapped into the channel, man. I appreciate everybody for your support. If you have not hit that like button at this point, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to like the video. I need you to subscribe to the channel. Anybody who want to contribute monetarily, there are several options pinned to the chat and also down in the description. Stay tapped in. We will be covering this trial in days coming.